Gina, I need to talk to you about my mom's funeral.
Oh, sure, Anton. I just heard from your dad. We'll all be meeting up for drinks on Thursday the 5th, and the funeral itself is on Friday, right?
Yeah, that's right. Apparently we got pushed back a day because they're having some technical problems at the funeral parlor. So we're just gonna go for drinks on the 5th instead.
Right. It's also the busiest time of year for them right now, and I heard you sometimes have to wait over a week, so I guess we should count ourselves lucky they managed to fit us in the next day.
So anyway, as for what I messaged you about, sorry babe, but I'll be going to work today.
Huh? Work? I thought today was the start of your condolence leave. I thought you got a full week off for a parent.
I do. But I got a call from the hospital Mom was staying at while I was at work and had to rush off in a panic. I had to drop a particularly troublesome project I've been trying to get completed for ages, and now the office is in chaos with everyone trying to pick up the pieces. I didn't find anyone to take over for me, so I'm worried about how they're going to cope since everyone already has their own stuff to deal with. I'll never be able to have peace of mind with the thought of them all rushing around and having their schedules messed up on my behalf. So, I'm going to dash over and take care of it. Which means, and I'm sorry about this, babe, but I think I'll be sleeping at the office tonight.
I see.
I'll be home tomorrow night. I feel bad asking, but would you mind taking care of my pops in the house while I'm away?
I see. I guess you are in a difficult spot, and it's only natural you'd want to get back on top of everything to save your coworkers the trouble. I think your work ethic and sense of duty to your company are admirable.
I'm really sorry about the timing here, babe. I know it sucks, but we do have a little time before the funeral, and I seriously need to get this handled as soon as possible so things can get back to normal for everyone at the office and I can get a good night's sleep again.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Gina! Long time no see, girl! It's me, Nina! Do you remember me? Huh? Nina? Nina? Oh! By any chance, is this the Nina from my class in high school? Bingo! Anyway, let's get down to business. Tell me, Gina, where do you think I am right now? I'm sorry, Nina, but I don't have time to be messaging right now. I'll get in touch when things have settled down, okay? Ooh, get you, little Miss Diva. Looks like someone's in a grouch. No, it's not like that. Looks like I have no choice. Hey, Gina, it must really suck for you, huh? I can't believe it's your husband's day off, but he didn't even stay home to spend time with you. Day off? Sure, it's technically his day off. We don't have the luxury of spending time together right now. We're going through a difficult time. Ah, I see. Does that mean you saw this coming? Me stealing your husband Anton from you, that is. Huh? So, back to where we just left off. Where do you think I am right now, Gina? Go on. Tell me. I don't know, and I don't care. Jeez, you're no fun. Whatever, so be it. The truth is, I'm with Anton in the luxury hot spa resort in Gregsby Town. Quit joking around, I'm not in the mood. You wish I was joking. What the hell is this? We've been dating for a whole 2 years now. I think it's gonna be time for us to tie the knot soon. Yes. My big dream wedding is going to be amazing. 2 years? Does that mean you've had your claws in him ever since we started caring for his mom? You need to hurry up and divorce him so I can have him all to myself. Why would you be doing this now of all times? Listen to me, girl, and listen good. You think you're such hot shit, don't you? Did you think I forgot what a teacher's pet you were in school? You had no right to be getting grades that good despite coming from a single mother household. You even got into the best college in the state, and on a scholarship with a tuition fees exemption, no less. Ugh. It makes my blood boil just thinking about it. How can there be so much injustice in the world? You make me sick, you disgusting freeloader. Wait, is this why you... And that's not all. Anton's mom and dad were fiercely against the wedding when they found out you were raised by a single mom, weren't they? No, that was only his mom, actually. Sure, she might have been opposed to us being together, but his dad and little brother were perfectly fine with it. And actually, they were super supportive. We ended up going ahead with it in the end after Anton persuaded his mom to give us the go-ahead. Yep, I know. I didn't ask for an explanation, sweetie. You see, I already know the intimate details of your private life. Apparently, she only agreed to let you marry when he told her that you, coming from a broken family, meant you'd have nowhere to escape to, so she could treat you like her own personal slave. Did you know that's how Anton talks about you behind your back? Huh? Wait, what? Your mom got on board when she heard that, which is the only reason she finally agreed to the marriage. Didn't you think it was strange how she changed her mind all of a sudden? What is this? If you don't believe me, how about I send you the chat logs? I keep them in a special folder I check whenever I'm feeling bored and need to laugh. I see. I would like to confirm all this now, but I'm incredibly busy and it's not a good time. Listen, Nina, if you want me to divorce him, you're gonna need to send me a hell of a lot more proof than just a picture. Sure, I can do that. My family is rich, so if you charge us for compensation, we'll barely even notice. My mommy and daddy will be happy to pay any amount of money if it means securing their precious daughter's happiness. So it's evidence you want, huh? All right, prepare to receive mountains of the stuff. You're probably going to want to start crying when you see what I'm about to send, so be sure to take regular breaks in between looking and taking deep, big breaths.
Hey, Gina. You announced you were divorcing me at my mom's frickin' funeral? What the hell's gotten into you? I can't believe you shoved a set of divorce papers in my face and stormed out of the church while I was mourning my dead mom. I got quizzed and interrogated by my entire goddamn family because of you. Do you know how much embarrassment you've caused me? This is the most senseless, ridiculous, absurd thing I've ever heard of.
If I'm absurd, then what are you?
Excuse me? What have I done that's absurd?
How about you ask your girlfriend about it? You are just as bad as each other.
My girlfriend?
Nina Jenkins.
What?
I know all about how you guys met after you approached her at a bar, but apparently you didn't know she was my classmate back in high school.
Seriously? Wait. How do you know any of this?
She exposed your relationship to me herself. Tell me, Anton, when do you think she told me? It was the night of the first day of your condolence leave, when you told me you were going to the office.
What?
A luxury hot spa resort, huh? You must have been really broken up about your mom. Congrats, Anton. You just won the grand prize for being the world's biggest scumbag. I mean, please. Using your condolence leave to go on a seedy vacation with your lover behind your wife's back? Are you really in any position to say I'm acting senselessly?
Gina, well, Nina seemed so excited when she pitched the plan for the vacation to me that I couldn't refuse.
Really? Because based on what she told me, you offered to pay for the whole thing. Also, she thought it was just a regular vacation and didn't know anything about your mom.
Huh?
I don't know if it's because Nina's never had a single job in her life, but she didn't know what condolence leave meant when I told her the situation.
Wow, really?
I'm sure you can imagine how surprised I was to get a slew of gloating messages from your pea-brained lover about how she'd stolen you from me while I was making preparations for your mom's funeral and you pretended to be at work. You're reaching levels of absurdity previously thought impossible here, Anton. I guess trying to steal another woman's husband is pretty absurd in and of itself. I couldn't decide whether you were both as bad as each other. But when I stopped to think about it, I figured the guy who used his condolence leave to mourn his dead mother as an opportunity to go on a lover's hot spa retreat absolutely had to take the prize. You may have been cheating on me, and Princess Nina may have come at you all of a sudden begging for a vacation, but I might have actually been able to maintain the tiniest morsel of respect for you if you'd offered to reschedule for a later date, or just said no because you were mourning your mom. The fact that you still chose your lover's vacation in spite of everything you had going on shows me that you truly are a heartless lowlife with zero redeeming qualities. And that's the mild version of what I think you are. Believe me, I could say so much more, but then I figure, what's the point? It won't change anything, and you're not worth the energy.
Just shut up, woman. This ain't fair. You can't go pinning this all on me. You've done your fair share of wrong, too. You got up and stormed out like a little kid having a tantrum in the middle of my mom's frickin' funeral. I mean, seriously, shoving a set of divorce papers in my face in front of all those people? What in the heck do you think you're playing at? Surely you could have waited until after the funeral. Why did you have to go and embarrass me in front of everyone I know like that? You got some nerve to spit on my mom's memory by turning her funeral into an episode of Jerry Springer, and then act like you're some righteous hero of justice, and I'm the one in the wrong.
Right. Normally what I did would be downright unacceptable. But you see, Anton, your dad gave me his permission to do what I did at the funeral.
What? My dad?
Listen, your lover, Nina, tried to barge her way into our house this morning.
She did what now?
You didn't tell her about your mom, so she had no idea how busy I was with the funeral arrangements. She was so disappointed at how weak my reaction to finding out about the affair was after she'd been waiting so long in excitement to tell me about it. Between feeling let down by how few craps I gave about her and the fact that you hadn't been answering her calls and responding slowly to her messages lately, she reached her wits' end, flipped out, and drove over to the house in a rage. Her anger turned to confusion when she let herself in by the front door, only to find your dad sobbing alone in his mourning clothes, holding a photo of your mother in the kitchen. That's when the reality of the situation sunk in.
My dad?
Your dad's always had good instincts. Figuring something fishy was going on, instead of calling you, he called me immediately and asked me to come over. When I explained the situation to him, it became pretty obvious what had happened.
Are you serious?
That's not all. Your dad, livid with what you'd done, messaged the whole family and everyone set to attend the funeral with word of your affair.
He did what?
He told me I was free to leave the funeral at any time if the stress of everything all got to be too much for me. And to be honest, I was already at breaking point mentally and emotionally. So I took him up on his offer and left halfway through. As for the divorce papers, Nina brought them with her when she let herself into the house. All I did was sign them and hand them over to you.
Jesus Christ! This cannot be real. Where's Nina now?
She went home. I called her parents after she left and told them about what she'd done, so presumably they're surveilling her at their place now.
Gina?
Oh, and you'll be paying me compensation.
Compensation?
I'll be hiring a lawyer in a week or so once I've had the time to rest and get my mind in a better place.
You're gonna file for compensation from me while I'm still mourning my mom.
Somehow or other, Anton. I feel like using your condolence leave to go on vacation at a hot spa resort with your lover permanently disqualified you from using your mother's death as an excuse to get out of anything.
But...
I also have your dad's full support and backing, so I'm fully committed to doing this properly, and I promise I'll be taking you for everything I can. You better not try to escape. It's time to man up and face the consequences of your actions. Gina? Hello, are you there? What do you want? Well, I was kinda hoping we could discuss the whole thing with the compensation. I'll be hiring a lawyer over the coming days, so they'll be in contact with you, and we've decided on how much you owe me. Well, Gina, I was kinda hoping we could, forget about all this? Excuse me? please, just think about this for a sec. I didn't know anything about Anton's mom dying or you guys being in the middle of making the preparations for her funeral, right? If I had known, I would have never have done what I did when I did. In a sense, I'm a victim in all this too because Anton lied to me. So yeah, can we just forget all this and move on? You know, let bygones be bygones and all that? You must be crazy if you think I'm just gonna forget about what you did to me. Sure, I acknowledge that Anton was in the wrong for not telling you about his mom or the funeral. Right? So why can't we just forget about it? Because Anton not filling you in on all the details about his mom and you stealing my husband from me are two completely separate issues. So the compensation is going full steam ahead. You'll be paying me a lot of money, Nina, so I suggest you start rummaging through your piggy bank. Oh my god. What the hell is wrong with you? Have you never heard of the word sympathy before? How about you try having a heart, you insensitive old bag? I have been researching legal stuff online, and I'm pretty sure this counts as Wait, what was it again? Extenuating circumstances. Extenuating circumstances? It counts as nothing of the sort, and you're tragically deluded if you think otherwise. In what way does not knowing about Anton's mom's funeral expunge you of guilt for the affair? Not only that, but an affair you intentionally plotted with glee to satisfy some pathetic grudge you held against me since back when we were in high school, and which you willfully and voluntarily sent me tons of evidence of to hurt me as much as possible. How could you think there is any way for you to get off the hook on this one? Well, Just listen to me. You don't know how difficult my situation is right now. I have always been more of a housework girl, so I haven't had many jobs and don't have much experience working. Correction, I think you mean you've never had any jobs. Just because Mommy and Daddy reached their wits' end with you sponging off them and refused to pay the compensation doesn't mean you're getting out of it. I can't do this, Gina. I am begging you. Please, try to understand. What, did you seriously think I was going to feel any pity for you because you're actually going to have to face the consequences of your actions yourself? Instead of being pulled out of yet another mess by the bank of Mommy and Daddy? But... Obviously not. I'm actually pleased it turned out this way. But I never thought this was gonna happen. Anyone who goes out of her way to steal another woman's husband should be prepared to lose everything. Gina! I'm not letting you off the hook, and I have zero sympathy for you. I have no intention of going easy on you in court. You will be paying me every cent of the compensation I charge you for. Oh my god! There's no way out this time. You made your bed, now lie in it. After moving out of the in-laws' house, my friend kindly let me stay with her for a while, and with that, I finally set to work on hiring a lawyer and kicking off the divorce proceedings. I was convinced Anton would try to resist me at every turn, but to my surprise, he decided to yield to my demands after receiving a stern talking to from his dad. A few days later, I received every cent of the compensation I asked for in one lump sum, and the divorce was finalized. To make matters worse for my wayward ex-husband, word of him using his condolence leave to go on a lover's vacation got out at his workplace, and he voluntarily resigned to avoid the shame of being fired at the request of his boss. Finally, he was disowned by his dad and kicked out of the house. As for Nina, his partner in crime, after paying me my compensation by taking out a huge loan, she too was disowned by her mom and dad and kicked out onto the streets with nothing but a few dollars and a suitcase with her belongings to her name. There's something kind of poetically romantic about the two lovers of our story getting disowned by their parents and made homeless at the same time, don't you think? Apparently, they started renting a crappy old beat-up apartment in the rough part of town, an area known for its major crackhead and prostitute problem. However, in a sweet irony, it turns out Anton and Nina weren't a very good match for each other after all. Apparently, they started getting into fierce arguments every day. And before long, the neighbors, sick of not being able to sleep, reported them to the landlord. It's looking like they're going to be thrown back out on the streets before the end of the month.
Betty, it's been so long, hasn't it? I have some huge news to share with you, but is now a good time to talk?
No, it is never a good time to talk with you, Angela. You know, I still get angry even just having to be reminded that you exist, so if you don't mind, I'd really rather not have this conversation at all.
Wait, what? Now hold on for just 1 second there. I mean, you haven't heard from me in years, and this is the way that you choose to greet me? Don't you think you're being just a little mean?
Are you telling me that you've already forgotten what you did to me? I thought we were friends, or at least friendly, and you stabbed me in the back. You have really got some nerve coming to me asking if I want to catch up about your life.
Oh, but that was already 2 years ago. You really have got to get over these things, Betty. I mean, what is there even left to be mad about? It all happened so long ago.
Well, I don't care how long ago it happened. I am never, ever going to forgive you for what you did to me. I mean, our daughters used to be friends at preschool. I thought that we got along too. You were always someone I felt like I could trust. But then you had to go and steal my husband away from me.
Surely you can't still be hung up over all that, right? I mean, I know I probably shouldn't have done what I did, but it's not like you can really blame me for going after something that I wanted, right?
That isn't true, though. You were always trying to go after my husband, and you know it. You were probably just pretending to be friends with me, too. Also, you could get to Dave. In fact, you even said as much to me before, don't you remember?
Right, but what I'm saying is that Dave was a serious catch. If you don't think there were going to be women out there interested in making him theirs, then that's on you. Besides, I was a single mother. You have no idea just how tough I had it. And then when I met Dave and found out this handsome man also had a good-paying job, well, what was a woman to do? So yeah, I was trying to steal him away from you for a while, but it worked, didn't it?
I knew talking to you like this was a bad idea. Just reading these messages is already making my blood boil. But anyways, Dave is your husband now, and I don't see why I should have to know anything about your lives. So if you'll excuse me, I really must be going now.
But wait, you can't leave yet. I haven't even gotten to talk to you about my big news. You see, the thing is that yesterday, Dave passed away. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know that I'm a single mother once again.
Wait, are you serious? Dave is dead?
Yeah, he had been complaining about some kind of chest pains for a while, but then he was also complaining about always being too busy with work to go and see a doctor. And then yesterday, he just collapsed at work and never got up. It sounds to me like he had a stroke.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that information with me. I really had no idea that Dave was gone. I guess this means that I'll have to break the news to little Julia then.
He really was taken from this world too soon. Like, couldn't he have waited just a little longer? Can you believe that we were only married 2 years before he kicked the bucket?
You know, I have a lot of things I want to say to you, but for now, just know that I really am sorry for your loss. I hope that wherever he is, Dave is in a better place now.
Thank you for those kind words, Betty. But you really don't need to waste any time worrying about me, you know? I may be single again, but I'm not going to let that get me down. I'm going to move on with my life. And it also helps that I get everything in Dave's will, too. I'm sure that all that money will help me in recovering from my tragic loss.
Wait, what do you mean? Dave left you money in his will?
That's right. I really just can't believe he's gone. I mean, I was just starting to really enjoy the life of being a wife of a CEO. But now that he's gone, I guess that just means that I'll have to have enough fun for the both of us.
Well, I'll try and avoid speaking ill of the dead. But if you have to give him credit for anything, Dave knew how to run a business. Not only that, but he was never once late with a child support payment, but I guess he must have also set something aside for you as well.
Oh, yes, he did. And I was going to take that money, go to South Korea, and get plastic surgery. Then I'm going to be the hottest widow on the market, and it is going to make finding a new man to sweep me off my feet that much easier. Oh man, maybe things will finally go well for me. Wait a second, Angela. Don't you think that you're being just a little disrespectful right now? What are you talking about? In what way am I being disrespectful? Well, I mean that you're bragging about the money you're going to inherit from Dave, and not only that, but you said you were going to use it to find a new husband. Don't you think there should be a longer mourning period or something for him? I don't really see how the amount of time I spent mourning is going to make any other man want me more. If anything, it'll just make me look like some depressed widow who is too sad to remarry, and I really don't think that's what Dave would have wanted for me. I'm not saying that you don't deserve to be happy in your life, but the funeral hasn't even happened yet, right? Should you really even be thinking about the inheritance this early after he's gone? I knew it! I knew that you were just jealous of how much money I was going to be getting, but anyways, now you know what's happening.
Hello, is this Betty? We met once before, but I'm not sure if you remember me. I'm Thomas, Angela's son.
Oh, Thomas, of course I remember you. You were just a bit older than Julia in elementary school, weren't you? I just wanted to say that I'm very, very sorry for your loss. I'm not sure how close you and Dave managed to get before he passed, but I'm sure this is hitting you quite hard.
I didn't think of Dave as my dad at all. In fact, to me, he was always just Julia's dad that my mom managed to steal from your family. But I could never live with the feeling of stealing Julia's dad.
Thomas, I had no idea that you felt this way about the whole situation.
Well, I actually am messaging you today because I have a few things that I want to talk to you about. For example, do you know how to have a funeral? I've tried looking up things online, but I feel like it just made me more confused than anything else.
Wait, what? Why on earth are you looking up something like that?
Well, my mom said that she didn't have time to deal with Dave's funeral, so she told me to handle it all. So I guess that means that I'm in charge of organizing it and stuff.
You have got to be kidding me. Did your mom really say that?
Yeah, I mean, my mom is back to being a single mother. We don't really talk to any of our relatives. Especially not after she had her affair with Dave. That was the last straw for a lot of people. But anyways, that's bad for me because it means that I don't have anyone to ask.
But wait a minute. Where is your mom right now, Thomas? I mean, why in the world would she leave arranging the entire funeral up to you?
Well, my mom is actually out of the country on vacation right now. She told me that she just found out that the check for Dave's money just cleared and that she was off to spend it.
She's away on a vacation right now? So not only is she not going to be at Dave's funeral, but the reason she won't is because she's traveling?
Betty, I just want you to know how sorry I am that you've had to deal with my mom's antics. I really am always trying to stop her from acting this way, but anytime I say anything to her, it's like talking to a brick wall. She doesn't listen to anything I have to say. And this morning when I woke up, she was gone.
Thomas, please, you do not have to apologize to me for what your mom does. In fact, I'm glad that you reached out to talk to me about all of this. I'm very proud of how maturely you've been acting about all this. As for the funeral, that isn't something a child should have to plan. You can leave it all to me.
You mean it? You really want to help plan your ex-husband's funeral? Even after he left you and Julia for my mom? I don't know what to say. All this time I thought that I should have had to plan the funeral as a kind of punishment.
You don't deserve to be punished for anything, Thomas. You haven't done anything wrong. You're a very sweet and kind boy, but this is something the grown-ups should have to deal with. But what I want to know is, if your mom is away on her trip, are you okay? Do you have enough food in the house for yourself?
Kind of. I've been eating a lot of frozen meals that I'm getting from the store, but I'm pretty used to it after all this time.
All this time? What do you mean by that, Thomas?
Well, I just mean that my mom never cooks for me to begin with, so ever since I was little, I've always been eating prepared stuff from the store. But when my mom married Dave, she told him to give me more money to buy food, so I was actually given a budget of about $20 a meal.
And Dave really had no problem with you never eating a home-cooked meal at all?
I don't know whether or not he minded, but he was always too busy with work to do anything. I mean, we would eat out together at restaurants from time to time, but that was it, really.
So neither Dave nor your mom ever cooked a meal for you themselves? I don't get it. Don't they understand how important this time of your life is for growth? Thomas, I want you to come over to my house right away. You are welcome to stay here until all the funeral business is done with.
Wait, what? You can't really be serious about that, right?
Of course I'm serious. Besides, Julia is always talking about wanting to see you. She hasn't seen you since Angela and Dave got married and you transferred schools. I think it's been at least 10 years since you last saw each other.
But there's no way that I could ever face your daughter in person. I mean, my mom was the person who stole her father away from her mother. I'm the son of the woman who completely ruined her family.
But you didn't do anything, and you can't blame yourself for this. This is all on your mom, and you shouldn't feel any responsibility for it at all. Now please, come over here and enjoy some real food. Honestly, someone your age shouldn't be having to deal with all of this. It's just tragic.
Betty, thank you so much.
Of course, but I just wonder if you haven't already forgotten where I live. Anyways, I'll think of something special to cook for dinner tonight, so you hurry on over here. I heard that you stepped in for my son and ended up organizing the whole of Dave's funeral. Even to the end, I guess you never really were over him, were you? Why else would you step up and take over for Thomas like that? You have got some nerve asking me that. Why in the world was it up to your son to hold the funeral anyways? I mean, he is barely a teenager. There is no way he would have been able to do all that by himself. Honestly, what in the world is the matter with you? Didn't you feel a need to pay your respects to Dave at all? What more do I need to respect him for when I have all of his money? You really are a rather sentimental person, do you know that? And just what is that supposed to mean? I mean that you did all of this for Dave when you two aren't even married anymore. I certainly hope that you didn't hope to get anything from me by doing this. Because if you think that I'm going to share a penny of what Dave left me, then you are very, very wrong. Oh, please, do you really think that that's why I stepped in to help your son? I am really getting sick of all your wild delusions, Angela. Here I thought that you would have wanted to show some kind of emotion to Dave's memory, but instead I'm the one having to host the funeral all by myself. There you go, trying to guilt me into giving you something. I knew you would try this. But unfortunately for you, it isn't going to work. I've already told you that you aren't going to see a single penny. Dave's inheritance is all mine. So don't bother trying to kiss up to me. It won't work. You do know that Dave and I never actually got a divorce, right? And just what is that supposed to mean? I mean that had we actually been divorced, then you would have the rights to his will. But the fact is that Dave and I never finalized the divorce, so we were just separated. But legally, we were still married. So basically, I have a much stronger claim to his estate than you do. What in the world are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. Dave and I were married for 2 whole years before he died. That's the reason why I stole him from you. Besides, I know for a fact that we signed the wedding documents and everything. But did you actually see Dave ever take them to the courthouse for processing? Of course I didn't. Why would I both need to follow him all the way there? I signed the papers. That means we're married. It really is as simple as that. After we signed the documents, I left it all up to Dave to take care of. Well, then I think that Dave might have tricked you because you two were never married. You really have no idea what you're talking about. Do you know that? Oh, I'm afraid that I do, though. You see, I never forgave either of you for your affair. And one way that I got my revenge was by refusing to divorce Dave. It would have been so easy to just sign the papers and be done with it, but then I knew that that would make things even easier for him. I still carried around my grudge against you two, so I never ever signed any kind of divorce papers. You have got to be kidding me! I am not at all, and Dave knew he had no choice but to go along with it, since I could have taken away his visiting rights to see our daughter. I told him that if he and I get divorced, that he would never ever see his daughter again. You did what? But this doesn't make any sense. This is the first I'm hearing of any of this. Well, now you know that for the past 2 years, your so-called marriage to Dave was all a lie. But surely the courts would have seen that we were together. I'm afraid that it's not a matter of that at all. Dave's will lays out quite explicitly that his wife is to get everything. And that would mean that it all goes to me. It doesn't really say that, does it? Surely there's got to be a mistake here. My name has to be on that somewhere. There has to be a version around here with my name on it. Well, you said he died suddenly from a stroke, right? So what makes you think he would have even made something like that? I found Dave's will, and just as I thought, I am going to get a huge amount of money. You mean you found a new version of the will? That's right. He said that even though we weren't married, he wanted to leave me everything as a way of apologizing for lying to me. I see. Well, if the document is really real, then you have to go and get it notarized. That way it can be used legally. Otherwise, it would just look like you were trying to pass off a fake document as the real one. And that is a very serious crime. Wait, hold on. Is that really true? You mean I can't just show them this document that I found this morning? But then you have to at least give me something. Ah, so you mean you did forge that document? Please, I have a child. I need Dave's money to take care of him.
Oh, don't worry about me, Mom. Betty already said that she was going to pay for my college. I'm glad that you got back home from your trip there. Betty was so worried about me when she heard that you were gone. She took me in for a few days.
Wait a second. Is this Thomas? What are you talking about? You're with Betty right now, and what do you mean she's going to pay for your schooling?
I mean that she is going to be more of a mother to me than you ever were. She already has been in just a short time that I've been here. We've been talking, and she told me that if I managed to get into a college, that she would pay for all 4 years of my tuition.
But that isn't fair. What do I get there?
I don't care what you get, Mom. I was talking with Julia, and she was so excited that we're going to go to college together.
Thomas, you can't trust someone like Betty. She's going to charge you interest. She's going to try and trap you with debt.
No, she said she was going to do all this for free. Betty told me I won't owe her a penny, ever. And so, I really don't need or want you in my life anymore, Mom. I think I'm old enough to take care of myself. And after all, I've been doing it already for years now.
How dare you talk to your mother that way? What is the matter with you?
Is that really the last thing you wanted to say to me as my mom?
No, wait, don't go. I'm sorry. Please, you have to talk to Betty and convince her to share some of that money with me. I need it.
I see. Well, if that's all you need me for, I think I'm going to be going now. Have a nice life, Mom. Don't reach out to talk to me ever again.
Wait, no, Thomas, come back. Please, you can't just leave me like this. I'm your mother. Can't you see that I really need help right now? Please, you have to come back. Thomas! After that, I talked with Thomas and agreed to let him live with Julia and I. He really is a brilliant kid, and he excelled in all of his classes. By the time he finished school, he was valedictorian and even gave a speech to all of his classmates. Julia and I support him through the college application process. By the time he heard back from all the schools he applied to, he had 5 different full-ride offers to choose from. I continued to get harassing messages from Angela begging for money. She even hired a lawyer and tried to sue me. But she quickly burned through what little money she had left doing that, and it got her nowhere. Now that Thomas is in school, he tells me that he swears to pay me back one day. And I tell him that he has nothing to worry about at all.